If Tyler from Spartanburg calls in, I promise I won't hang up on him and call him, what do you call him? Smart ass kid. I won't do that to you, Tyler.
She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys. She goes friends. How they dance in the courtyard. Sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember. Some dance to forget. So I got the captain. Please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had this spirit here since 1969. And still those voices are calling from far away. Waking up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, not the greatest song ever, in my opinion.
Welcome to the hotel.
I do like this version of it, though.
Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Living it up at the Hotel California. What a nice surprise, what a nice surprise. Bring her all alive. Mirrors on the ceiling, the pink champagne on ice. She said, we're all just prisoners here of our own device. In the master chambers, they get it for the feast. Stab it with the stealing knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find a
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, by the way.
place I was.
You guys know the deal. Hit the thumbs up because YouTube really cares, even if your boy does not.
We are
And more importantly, this is a call-in show. The show is driven by the callers.
like
If you want to be a part of the show, click that StreamYard link. It's easier than using a phone. If you've seen some of the people that have called in this show before, you know how easy it is. Scott, according to this YouTube 70s and 80s classic rock video that I'm playing, they have this listed as the Eagles singing it. So I don't know. It does sound a little different though, doesn't it? If it's a cover, it's a good cover. Well, I am a gold chain guy. I'm not a hot tub orgy guy though. Let's get this thing going. All right. What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Excuse me, I'm burping. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the College Football Call-In Show, Week 10. God, man. Week 10, this is a week that I had circled on my calendar for 8 months before the season started. Of course, that was before the wheels fell off at Clemson, South Carolina. Sitting here at 4-4. My plan all year was to go to the Clemson and Notre Dame game, which I am doing this weekend. So anybody who's going to be there, pay attention to this YouTube channel and, of course, my Twitter account. That's my only two social media accounts that I involve myself in. And I'll let everybody know where I am after the game. We're probably going to tailgate after the game rather than before the game, mainly because, it's a noon game. And we have to drive up that morning from Charleston, which is about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, depending on traffic, to get there. And by the time we go park our car at the hotel in the town over and Uber our way to Clemson, it's going to be close to game time. So there won't be a lot of time for me anyway to tailgate before the game, but we do have some plans to do some tailgating at a spot pretty close to the stadium after the game. For a few hours. So if you want to come by, say hello, or I don't know, you might be one of these people that wants to kick my ass all the time. You know, I always hear about those people. If I ever see you, I'm going to kick your ass. Well, I'll let you know where I am. Come kick my ass. Or we could shake hands and take a picture together. Either way is fine with me. I'm prepared for both. Anyway, we won't waste any time tonight. We'll get right to the phone calls. We got some great games this weekend, highlighted by the game day game in Tuscaloosa between LSU and Alabama. In my humble opinion, this game will decide who wins the West. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to happen, but this is a very important game for the SEC, and particularly for LSU and Alabama. I am picking Alabama to win the game, but nothing would surprise me. This could be one of the more interesting games that we've seen between LSU and Alabama over the past 5 or 6 years. I know LSU won it last year in Brian Kelly's first season. We'll see if he can repeat that on the road. Again, if you want to call in, click that StreamYard link. Let's see who's in here. We got Matt Dummon in here, third, and Nate. I'm about to call him third and Nate. Nate is making his way to the PigskinPeete compound and studio Wednesday of next week. So we'll get a heavy dose of Nate next week. Well, I'll get a heavier dose of Nate than anybody else, but clearly you'll get a dose of him too. VicTube is here. Stingray, Sir UGAAA, Jeremy Garland, the Nature Boy, Robert, my man Scott Kerr. Scott Kerr, I think, left me a message asking what is the name of my second channel, the one I do the midday show on. The name of the channel is called Peete Podcast, Peete Podcast. I don't know if you search that on YouTube, though, if you'll find it. Probably buried behind all kinds of other similar names because it's a new channel. Nightbot should be posting the link to that channel in the chat. So, John Doman, Joe Hughes, Esso. Wonder if Esso's going to the game this weekend. Charisse Armstead, Tiger Baskins, Rob Dog. Are we allowed to talk to others in here like 12-year-olds? Well, that tends to happen on virtually every show that I do, so I guess so. The Mad Tea Sipper, Jeremy Garrettson, D. Taylor, Phil Stevens. Says, yeah, dudes, that's not the Eagles. Yeah, I didn't think it was either. I don't know who it is, though. Let me show you. Because why not? You see this here? This is what I was playing just now. See right here, number 3, Hotel California, the Eagles. Now, I don't know if that's who was singing it or if that's just a cover of it. I'm assuming it's a cover of it. But that's the only information I have. So, there you go. Wilford Brimley. What's going on? What's going on with you, Wilford? Irvin Williams, what's up? Blake. How is Notre Dame only a 3-point favorite? Feels like they should be a 10 or 15-point favorite. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little bit shocked that it was only 3 points as well. I don't know about 10 or 15, being that it's in Clemson. I was thinking more around 6 or 6.5 would have been, if I had to guess, that's what I thought it would have been. So that's a good question. I don't really know why the line is the way it is. Don Darty. B-Puck33 says, what's up, Pete? What's up, B-Puck? Eric Wallace, Bama fan. Roll Tide, roll. Roger Dodger. Who's driving the white truck booty patrol in Florida? That sounds to me like something that Twisted Rooster would do. The booty patrol truck. Yeah. That's midday show stuff there, if you haven't watched the midday show. All right, I'm going to take the phone calls in the order they came. So if I don't pick up your phone call first, just sit tight. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Pete, Octavian owes my ass money.
Has anybody seen Octavian since Saturday?
Do you remember the bet I made on your midday show?
I do remember, now that you bring that up, I do remember you making a bet. However, I don't remember the parameters of it. Do you want to refresh our memory?
It was a bet straight up, $100.
$100?
Yep.
Oh,
yes,
no.
Sir. $100, a Benjamin. I'm waiting on the damn Benjamin from Octavian.
Was that on last Friday's? Do you remember what day? Was it on Friday?
It was, I think it was almost 3 weeks prior to the game.
Okay.
Well, remember, he was actually at the Florida State Stadium. Around there.
Right. That wasn't the show that I got removed and put in YouTube jail for, was it? Because otherwise I don't have it.
No.
Okay.
Not
right.
that I know. No, this is not when Vic read the news and all that. No. But he came on. He was, touting and bragging. Florida's going to beat the crap out of Georgia. And I said, put your money where your mouth is. And I kept egging him on to that. I said, well, let's make it, $100. And he said, okay. And I said, everybody on the channel here, you heard it here, that Octavian bet me $100.
Well, I mean, a man pays his bets. And also, if it was done on the midday show, that we do have video evidence that this transaction did take place.
Well,
so I don't know.
If I'd lost, I would have contacted him some way immediately, or found out from you how do I get in touch with Octavian to Venmo him, whatever what app he would use to transfer money to him as soon as the game was over.
Yeah. Well, being the man that I am 100% willing to facilitate this transaction. If Octavian is listening at some point or listens to this later, and he wants to send me the $100, I'll forward it over to Scott to make it easy for you.
But what? I think it's lost money by y'all.
Yeah.
With all purposes, it's lost money.
Look, man, don't make bets if you ain't going to pay them. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Hey, I am pulling, and I'll say this only once in my life, go Tigers, because I hate the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I hate Rudy. I can't stand Rudy. So I hope you guys shellac them, in Death Valley. I just hope you give them a proper damn shellacking. Well, and maybe, just maybe, they'll get up for that game.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of hope. My only hope, and I'm grasping at straws here towards the end of the season, is that all of the sort of negative energy that's surrounding Clemson, whether it's the team itself or what's going on with Dabo Sweeney and his standoff with the fan base and all this. I hope that lights a fire underneath this team's ass, and they go out there and put together the best game they've played all year, and not turn the ball over 15 times. And
that talk from Dabo, he sounds like he's snorting coke.
Well,
I mean, he sounds like he might be snorting cocaine, because that just sounds like cocaine talk to me.
Well, that's the sad thing about it is he's not on cocaine, and imagine if he was. I mean, God damn. Yeah.
Well, you just never know. But I don't understand it. But the man, I guess, was just rubbed the wrong damn way. He's not having a good season. I can understand why he'd be frustrated. I get it. I understand it. We don't know. We have no idea the pressures these college football coaches go through on a day-to-day, minute-by-minute basis. So, yeah, not here to judge by any means.
Yeah, I don't think it made him look good necessarily. But on the flip side of that, I honestly don't really think he cares whether it made him look good or not.
Oh, I don't think he did. He was just mad. He was just
he was mad.
Mad.
He was down mad.
And he came off a little pretentious, and there it is. But that's that, But hey, he's he got pissed, and just like he called Ian from some slapdick community college.
Yes, he's got some funny sayings. There is an update quickly, though. There is an update on the Tyler from Spartanburg situation. I mentioned on the ACC show last night, I was like, somebody should track this guy down and interview him. And somebody did. And now it's slipping my mind. It was one of the Clemson fan websites, and every team has a million fan websites, right? It was either the Clemson Insider or Saturday Down South. I can't remember exactly who it was. But they posted an article on Twitter. They did find the guy, and they did interview him. And he sort of backtracked. He said that if he had to do it over again, that he would have been more respectful, and that he regrets the phone call. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said he was listening to the radio show, and he started getting mad listening to Dabo talk about we're 3 plays away from being a playoff team, and that's what got him worked up enough to call in.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what? When you have, I think that a lot of people, if you're a fan, you have the right to question, what the team is doing. It's kind of like, it's almost like politics, to be honest with you, Pete. If you look at it like, if you think your senator representing you is doing something foolish and stupid, you have every damn right to call in and tell them just that. Whether it'll get to them or not, it's different. Now, he got directly to the source and told him what he felt.
Well, he did. He called Dabo arrogant. He compared him to Tommy Bowden, which is a ridiculous comparison. I mean, yeah. And then he also said, I've been going to Clemson games since you were selling commercial real estate. I mean, the guy, he clearly was trying to get under Dabo's skin.
Yeah, he was a prick.
And look, usually if you go looking for something, you're going to find it, and he found it.
Right.
So now, right. I don't necessarily agree with the way that Dabo handled it. I thought he could have handled it a little bit better than that. But at the same time, I got to put myself in his position because I take calls on YouTube, and if somebody comes at me sideways, I'll probably do way worse than what Dabo did.
Sure.
So.
Because didn't he even asked about his salary? You're not your salary, didn't he?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he's making $11 million a year because he's the second winningest coach over the past 10 years. I mean, right. That's the answer to that.
He did point that out. I remember him saying just that. But hey, yeah, okay, he got mad, but hey, I've heard Nick Saban get really damn mad with the fan too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. If you come after somebody like that, hard like that, then, you may get it right back. You're going to get it thrown right back to you.
Yeah. Oh, anyway.
But, he's going to be all right, and the team's going to be okay. They've had a hiccup season. That's what I think it is.
I hope so. I hope that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got some guys coming back, and for the season. You got some. Don't you have some? You got some fresh new faces, all that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Well, I was going to mention something else. Oh yeah, did you see this before you went on? Bobby Knight is dead.
I did see that. I just heard about that maybe about 30 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he's been sick for the past few years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's
an arrogant prick.
Yeah, wow. He's still yeah.
I mean, good Lord, he's still a little warm, and I'm calling him an arrogant.
I was gonna
prick.
say people are coming on Dabo about. I mean, shit, he ain't got nothing on Bobby Knight.
Hell no.
He got nothing on
Bobby Knight was horrible, man.
Yeah.
With players, with interviewers, with everybody.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Imagine that guy calling Bobby Knight. What would happen?
Oh God. Bobby Knight would have choked that guy.
Well, Bobby Knight
he would have reached right. He'd have reached right through the phone and choked him out.
Or thrown a chair at him. Oh my God! I wrote to a friend of mine and said, "Well, Bobby Knight died." He said, "Well, who cares?" I went, "Oh my, that's a little harsh, man."
Yeah.
Anyway, well, listen. Have a great trip to Clemson. Have a fun at the game, and we'll talk soon. And
yeah,
Octavian, wherever you are, man, shame on you.
Yeah. Also, real quick before I let you go, you have an open invite to come hang out with us on next Saturday if you're able to.
Is it next Saturday? Okay.
Yes, next Saturday.
Well, I'm still a little half blind, but I may try to do just that, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't make it, no big deal. But I just want to let you know you're invited. That's all.
Awesome. I really appreciate that, Pete. Very much so.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you next week sometime.
Okay. Well, I'll be in touch.
All right, man.
I'll let you know. All right.
See you later.
Have a good one, man. Have a good night.
Scott Kerr, everybody. Yeah, Scott only lives about 10 minutes from me. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hey, what's up, Pete?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Mr. Derek, how you doing tonight?
I'm amazing and fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hey, what does Missouri have to do this weekend to beat Georgia?
What does who have to do? Missouri?
Yeah.
The first thing they have to do is score more points than Georgia does. I think that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, they're going to have to find a way to move the ball against Georgia's defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know the answer to that question. I mean, I think Missouri's a very good team, but I think they're out of all the teams they've played this year, some of the surprising wins that they've had, none of them compare to the talent they're going to see this Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Mizzou fan, but I don't see it.
You're a Missouri fan?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yep. I'm a big Mizzou guy. I don't see it happening, buddy. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. The game's in Athens too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was in Columbia, I'd say maybe, but it's in Athens too.
So being that you're a Missouri fan,
yeah.
Do you ever wake up in the morning and question your life choices?
No, I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
tell
good.
you, and also, I'm out here in Washington State, so I also follow Washington and Wazoo quite a bit. Also, Washington, they need to show me something here this week.
You're Washington's what now?
Yeah.
I had a hard time understanding what you're saying.
Yeah, Washington, they're kind of falling on hard times right now.
Washington's falling on hard times. Aren't they ranked 5th in the country?
Yeah, but the last 2 games, they've just barely hung on for dear life. they've been barely beating teams, but they should be beating soundly. Yeah.
Who's yelling at you?
Oh no, that's nothing.
That's nothing?
That's nothing.
Okay. Sounds like something. But you said Washington's falling on hard times. They're sitting here at number 5.
Yeah, but
I don't think that's hard times.
Babe.
If you want to know about hard times, check out Clemson. Have you seen them play this year?
No, but I've heard that y'all are going through like all sorts of stuff this year.
Yeah, all kinds of losses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like.
Yeah, they're worse than Missouri. Way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about how bad that is. I mean, you should know you're a Missouri fan.
Yeah. So Dabo, he shortly show. Is Dabo gonna get fired?
No.
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 Oh, good.
Not unless you can come up with $50 million or 60, whatever his buyout is. It's a lot.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, Clemson doesn't have that kind of money. They're not Texas A&M. They're not Texas. Hell, they're not Tennessee. They're not Alabama. It's a small school.
Yeah.
I can't even believe they mustered up enough money to pay him that contract, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And also, I don't want him fired. And also, Dabo, I know he's not listening, but just hypothetically, Dabo, nobody else wants you fired either. Not even Tyler. Not even Tyler.
Yep.
Yeah. Facts.
And then Washington State, what do they have to do for the rest of the year to turn this ship around?
Washington State?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
All right. Thank you, Eric, for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bud.
All right. Missouri fan. He's called in a bunch of times. I had no idea he was a Missouri fan. But now I know. And as G.I. Joe says, knowing is indeed half the battle. You know what I mean? What's up? You're on with Pete.
So I kind of want to go off of what he was saying, the whole Washington deal.
Yeah.
Because right now, Washington is in the same boat. I guess I'll start with this. College football playoff rankings came out Tuesday. Came out yesterday, correct?
Right.
If they would have come out in week 2, wouldn't USC have been in that top 5?
Yes.
And I get it. Oh, well, you've only played 2 games. You can't get a lot of whatever. And my point is, week 4, same thing. But USC had a lot of close games that made people question, are they good or do they just keep, they're barely squeezing out these games? What happens when they play a good team? Well, we saw that. And then Washington, they beat Oregon, so it kind of ruffled some feathers in that whole mindset of, well, they did beat a good team. But then all of a sudden now, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But yeah, these last couple of games for Washington, they have struggled offensively and defensively. The same way Notre Dame went from being really, really good offensively to being not very good. Then USC from being very good offensively to being not good. I think Caleb Williams threw 3 interceptions in one half. You're seeing this turnaround of, I don't know if defenses are just getting better. I don't know if Michigan is sending everybody the plays. No idea what's going on. I don't.
Well, this is why I say that if I was to make my own top 4, I mean, I understand that the playoff committee has to go off of a certain set of whatever quote unquote rules or whatever. And the first rule is wins. So that's where they go with that. If you're undefeated, obviously you're going to be in the top 4. But if I were making my own, I would have Oregon in the top 3. I think Oregon's better than Washington. I know they lost to them, and that's all that matters. The results on the field do have to matter. But I believe if Oregon played Washington tomorrow, Oregon would be favored, and they would probably win the game.
It would be the same thing as Texas, Oklahoma. That same exact mindset.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I can see where you're going with that.
If Texas played Oklahoma again, we feel like Texas would win that game.
Probably, yeah.
And two, the thing with Ohio State, yes, them having 2 top 10 wins, but then it's like, Yeah, but like you said, you can't go away from the recipe of how you come up with these teams. I get that. But then you look, to me, Ohio State is in that same boat as the Washington, as USC was earlier. Because Penn State, they were a top 10 team. But then you look and it's like their defense has played well, but they're not that good, especially offensively. And you see Ohio State goes into Penn State, wins 20-12, I believe. And it's like, man, those are two great defenses. Indiana goes into Penn State the next week and put up 23 or 24. And we're like, well, yeah, but, it's like, no, it's not like another team came in with a bunch of 4 and 5 stars and put up 23 points. That's Indiana. Like, bro, they're not even a basketball school anymore. They're just a school. So my point is, Penn State is not as good as they're led on to be. And I get, you got to give Ohio State their wins, but that's why I love that college football will play itself out. This Michigan-Ohio State game is going to tell a lot because Michigan has not had a lot of strength on their schedule. And Ohio State, I do not think is as good as they're made out to be, especially when you look at the yards Kyle McCord's throwing, and half of them are to Marvin Jones or Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he's good. I'm not taking away from him. That's why you have good players on your team. I'm just saying, I'm not ranting. I'm just kind of putting it out there.
No, I know what you're saying, but as far as the Washington thing and the Penn State thing, and there's a list a mile long of teams that have very few losses, a bunch of wins, or even undefeated, and have struggled against teams. But that happens to everybody. There's not a team out there that hasn't struggled with somebody. The good teams and the great teams find a way to win those games, which is what Ohio State has done. Right? They found a way to win.
And Washington, same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Washington as well.
And so I definitely give them their props. And I like what you said about, putting Oregon in the top 3. If we could fast forward 2 weeks, we'll say even 3 weeks into the season, this is, or even to where Michigan's going to play Ohio State, we're towards the end of the season, who before conference championships, who's in that Final Four for the college football playoff?
Before conference championships?
Yes, right before conference championship play, who's in that Final Four? Who's in that college football playoff?
Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. Let me think about this for a second.
If Michigan were to beat Ohio State, Ohio State's won now. They'd have to keep that one spot for this to happen.
But you said before the championship game.
I'm saying, but they play right before it, I think. They play that week before the championship game, if I'm right.
Oh, yeah. What am I thinking about? Yeah.
So I'm saying if Ohio State were to lose, but they kept that number 1 spot, they'd probably move down to 3 or 4. But if
I don't know. There's so much that can happen between now and then. It's hard to say because other teams are going to win and lose that are knocking on the door. So I don't know. I think probably most likely the loser of that game will drop out of the top 4. So you only have one of those two in there. Probably then Georgia. See, Florida State still has to play Miami.
Yes.
So
that was going to be my question. Do you think Florida State makes it? That's kind of the overall. Like, you think Florida State? Well,
Florida State's staying in the top 4 as long as they win. Clearly, if they lose to Miami, they're dropping out.
Agreed.
And also they have to play Florida still. I think they'll beat Florida, and that's the week before the championship games as well.
Yes.
But and then you've got these teams: Texas, Alabama, Oregon, Washington, that are all primed to move up if they continue to win, because some of these teams in front of them are going to lose.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. I know you made a video on it, and I'm going to end up watching it in a bit about the whole Tyler calling in and whatever, blah blah blah. Do you feel the same way as Tyler, or was this kid trolling?
Well, I thought of originally that he might have been trolling until I saw his interview after the incident, and apparently he's not a kid. He claims to be 29 years old.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that he had a valid question and a valid point, but he failed on his delivery he might have been able to get a more honest answer from Dabo instead of just a Dabo rant if he had phrased his question / criticism in a different way.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was that was all.
I mean, he had a valid question. The question should have been, you know, with recruiting in the top 10 over the past 13 years, basically on an annual basis, and the talent that we have on this team is on paper at least first or second in the ACC and in the top 10 in the country. Why are we sitting here at 4-4? That should have been the question. It shouldn't have been, why are we paying you $11 million? And I've been a fan since you were selling commercial real estate and all that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Understood. All right. Well, sir, thank you. And I hope you have a good show.
All right. Thank you, TB.
See you, bud.
Oh, what's up? You're on with Pete.
Huh? Oh, hey, what's up, Pete?
What's up, Nate?
Not much. I'm talking to you right now and watching you right now on my TV. That's weird.
That's great, Nate.
But anyway, so college football. In my reaction of the college football playoff rankings for the first one, I mean it doesn't bother me, to be honest.
I don't know why it would bother you. I mean, you're sitting you're at number 3.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah, it doesn't bother me, and y'all haters out there can cry about it because your team's not in top 4. So,
well, I don't really think anybody that pays attention to college football is really crying about Michigan being at number 3. You might have some Ohio State fans or some, whatever. The playoff committee's job is not to legislate cheating. Their job is to say who's got the best wins, who's undefeated, all those measurements, and pick the top 25 teams. It's not to say, oh, they cheated, so we're not going to put them in the top 4. I don't know. I have a hard time. How can anybody follow college football in the playoff era and not know that? Because I see it all over Twitter all day long. How can they put Michigan in the top 4? They cheated. It's like, bro, go back to watching fucking soccer or NFL or whatever you're watching because you have no clue how college football works.
Yeah, that was how I was thinking in my head. If you haven't watched Michigan, and I know they have bad scheduling, but they have been dominating their opponents. I mean, by score wise, what else you want them to do? I mean, but yeah, I just want to call in and also, yes, I did send tri-tip thing. But hey, before I go, Notre can kick rocks and shut up in their pie hole and go blue.
All right, see you later, Nate. I have no idea what he was talking about. What's up? You're on with Pete.
What's up, Pete? How you doing?
I'm amazing and fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
No, I'm doing terribly right now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing it's doing the same thing as last week. Getting pushed around the lines of scrimmage. I mean, the season's over right now. It's crazy how we went from a top 10 ranking 2 weeks ago to now our season being completely over. The fan base going completely wild, but it's just a pathetic.
I wish I could say I couldn't relate, but I can.
Yeah, I know.
For those who don't know, this is not a Clemson fan calling in, even though he's describing Clemson to a T. This is a North Carolina fan here.
Yeah. But I see the fan base calling for Gene Chiswick's head right now, and I completely understand why. I mean, these past 2 defensive performances have been terrible. But here's the thing. Who hired Gene Chiswick in the first place?
Oh.
Answer me that.
Well, the answer is Mac Brown, yeah.
Yeah, the fan base is so scared to go after him right now because he's the great Mac Brown, and I'm getting really tired of him. I appreciate the good things he's done. We had a dead program before Mac Brown. He comes in and completely revitalizes us. But I'm so tired of choking every single year. It's not like we're losing to some great teams. We keep losing to these terrible teams. When we're finally starting to get really, really good, we have way too much talent to lose to teams like Virginia and Georgia Tech.
This is a pattern, though. This happened last year too.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the year before.
Yeah,
And also, even his first year, we kept losing games that we weren't supposed to.
Let me ask you a question. Does Mac Brown do a weekly call-in show?
Yes, he actually does.
Oh, he does? Okay. How come nobody's called in and asked him why he hired Gene Chizik?
You know, actually, that's actually a really good idea. I might actually do that. That'll be a really good idea.
Yeah, if you do that, can you give me if you get on the phone with Mac Brown on the call-in show, can you plug the Pigskin Pete show? And then I can play it.
I will do that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on that? I don't think we're going to fire Mac, but I feel like it's time to part ways. Because we completely wasted Sam Howell and Drake May with this terrible defense. We've had the offense, we've had the weapons, we've had the quarterback. We had an okay offensive line, a good enough offensive line, and we have the talent on defense. It just hasn't come together, and it's always the defensive coordinator's fault. Well, Mac Brown hired our last DC, fired him. Now we hired Gene Chizik, and now he's probably going to get fired after this year. He's going to be a scapegoat. So what are your thoughts kind of on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that you're not the first North Carolina fan I've talked to that is sort of ready for the Mac Brown era to be over with. And I don't know. I mean, how do you feel? Are you ready to move on from him, or are you sticking with him?
It's very confusing for me because I'm so tired of all this choking. But at the same time, I'm worried who are we going to get after Mac Brown? Because Mac Brown is a guy who's won a national title, has had tons of success, and he's recruiting still very well. I wonder if we're going to lose all that and go back to a 3-4 win program. But this choking is getting so frustrating. So I'm on the edge right now. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Honestly, I'm kind of with you. As like, who are you going to get that's better? But he is getting old, and you know, I feel like he's probably on the edge of retirement anyway. I don't know if it'll be after this year, but I think probably within the next 2 or 3 years, no matter what happens, he's probably going to pack it up and call it a day. You know.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay for next year. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a toss-up. But the season's over for this year for Carolina. I don't know if Drake May's coming back. There's rumors that he could.
Why would he?
Finish his degree, plus he's a Carolina boy. I don't think he will come back. It would be dumb if he did. If he came back to college, he should transfer. But I don't know what's going to happen next year. This was kind of our year, our shot. I mean, here's the good thing. We could probably make the 12-team playoff next year, but we're going to have lots of talent next year. But will we have the quarterback, assuming Drake May leaves?
Yeah, I don't know why he'd come back. That would be a silly mistake. He's a projected first-round pick, and a quarterback class full of really good quarterbacks. You know, and all he does if he comes back is risks some sort of either a bad year where his draft stock drops or he gets injured or something. I don't know why he'd come back.
Yeah, actually, I think he's going to be the number 1 overall pick after what Caleb Williams has been taking down the boards. It looks like, assuming like Chicago or Arizona wants a quarterback, they're probably going to take Drake May number 1 overall.
Yeah, I have no idea about any of that. What I do know though is he'll be a top 10 pick, and anybody who's going to be a top 10 pick who doesn't enter the draft is silly. That's life-changing money in the first contract. So
yeah, I agree with you. One last question.
Yeah.
I know obviously you're a Carolina Panthers fan as well as I am. How do you feel about this last win?
Yeah, well, they're few and far between. I actually laughed when I didn't see the game, so I was pulling up the scores just to check, and I looked at my wife. I said, "Hey, the Panthers actually won a game," and we both just started laughing. That's how bad they are. I mean, we just started laughing because they won.
Yeah, I know. I was celebrating like we just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I know we suck, but I'm gonna enjoy it. You know, it's been sometimes you just need to enjoy. So I'm really happy with the way Bryce Young looked. He looked better than C.J. Stroud yesterday. I'm not saying he will be better long term, but Bryce Young week by week keeps improving and improving. I'm just really excited. We need to build someone around him.
Yeah, I like Bryce Young. I haven't thrown him out with the bathwater yet, right? Like I haven't given up on him.
Yeah.
I just think it's a poorly run team, and that's the problem is the ownership, not the rest of the team.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. I wonder if we're going to fire Frank Reich this year just for like scapegoat reasons. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But Pete, that's all I have for you.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate the call. What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, hey. I just have 5 things. You don't think Drake May's dad's going to make him come back for his senior year?
No.
Yeah, because that would be fucking stupid for anyone's dad to do that. If the best defense of any coach is, but who would replace him, then you have no defense of your coach. That means it's time to fire him.
I agree.
How many things is that? 2?
That's 2.
Okay. Number 3, Michigan cheated. Number 4, Nate's coming to stay with you for a week.
5 days.
And and the last thing is there's multiple people in your comment section saying Georgia's losing to Mizzou. Then there's multiple people saying they're losing to Tennessee. Multiple people say they're losing to Ole Miss. I'm only pointing it out because every Sunday for the next 3 Sundays when I get on and I say all these idiots that picked Georgia to lose after we blow, because we're going to blow those teams out, and then I'm going to get on video on Sunday and make fun of all these idiots who picked Georgia to lose. These same belly draggers in your comment section are going to be the ones in my comment section going, nobody didn't pick them to lose. Look at Lou bragging about beating 3 bad teams, Ole Miss, Mizzou, and Tennessee. Nobody said they were going to lose. You said it. You've been saying it all year, dummy. 25 in a row. Who has Georgia played? I don't know, but they've beat them all.
What's up? You're on with Pete.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Hey, sorry about that.
No problem.
Hey, I just found you a couple years ago when
I'm sorry.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I found your show a couple years ago when Clemson started playing Notre Dame. I don't know, all the way back in what was it? Oh, since we've been playing the ACC schools.
Yeah.
Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
I just wanted your opinion on. I kind of feel the Pac-12's getting some undeserved love this year. I don't really understand why Oregon or Washington I know that they have good records and everything. I just don't know why anybody expects them to be any different than what they've been the last 5 or 6 years as far as, good quarterback play. But then when they come play teams west or east of the Rocky Mountains, they don't really hold up that well. I know they're ranked high now. I just don't understand why nationally or anybody's even giving on Oregon credit when they really haven't proven a whole lot.
I'm giving them credit for the eye test. I think they look like one of the best teams in the country. Yeah. I don't know. So you say that you don't understand the Pac-12 love.
Well,
which conference should be getting more love than the Pac-12?
Well, physically, the Pac-12's been, I think, the most finesse conference out of the Power 5. And I don't know if the pass rush that Oregon's been getting against Pac-12 teams is going to be the same kind of pass rush. I don't think they're going to get that against an ACC school.
or even a Big 12 school in some ways. I think line play is where it's really going to matter later in the season, especially in the playoffs. And I don't know. You can talk me out of it. It's more or less what I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think defensively, Oregon's legit, and offensively, I think they are too. Like you mentioned the ACC. How many teams, if Oregon was to play, like, just name an ACC team, any of them, even Florida State, tomorrow, do you not think that Oregon would be favored in that game? I do.
I think it'd be close with Florida State. A Louisville, I think, might be favored against an Oregon, especially what they've done this year.
I don't think so. No.
I don't know. I know I'm biased against Notre Dame, but Louisville had a hell of a game against them, and I think the only reason they dropped that Pittsburgh game is they're just not used to being that good. But I don't know. Jake Brom, he's not a bad coach. We'll see what happens later on, but I think Louisville is a better team than Oregon, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you there. I think Oregon would beat the brakes off of Louisville. However, I do give Louisville their credit. They've won a lot of games. I do think Jeff Brom's a great coach, but I don't think that they can hold a candle to any. Well, I don't think they can hold a candle to Oregon or Washington.
Well,
honestly,
we'll see how these games play out, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about this. I think, maybe people overlook some of the better ACC teams because, the transfer portal, we're all getting used to it. I think Louisville's one of the teams where you can point to say the transfer portal has really changed them.
I'm looking forward to the bowl season. I know a lot of people don't care about the bowls. They say they don't matter anymore unless it's the playoffs, this and that. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the ACC does in the bowl games. I think they're having a pretty good year this year. There's some really good teams in the ACC. Now, I'm not claiming that Clemson is one of them, unfortunately, but there are some good teams in the ACC this year. I think they have more good teams this year than they've had in the past 3 or 4 years.
Now, I'm definitely going to be rooting for my Irish this Saturday, but I think if Clemson could somehow, if you guys could somehow beat us, that's going to turn everything around and you'll be in the bowls. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a really good game. There's another guy on here. It's not Bobby Durkins. He's another Clemson fan that I've watched some of his videos.
May there.
I think his breakdown about the game's pretty good. But yeah, it'll be fun. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for calling in.
Yep, have a good one.
You too. It's good to hear from some Notre Dame people coming into the call-in show tonight. I did do a show earlier with John from Always Irish. You know our boy.
I don't feel well. Jesus, life shouldn't be that stressful. If this is my show 2 weeks in, by week 10, I'm going to be doing the show from a casket. Look down in the bayou.
So if you haven't seen that, it's on his channel. Everyone go check it out. It was good to chop it up with John today. What's up? You're on with Pete.
What's up, Pete? It's Will.
What's up, Will? Another Notre Dame guy. Look at this.
Yeah. I think it's just for the game. I think it's really important. You guys just got to stay out of 3rd and long. And I think you have a very strong chance.
Well, to me, they need to simplify it even more than that. I do agree with you. The 3rd and long is not a good situation for Clemson offense by any stretch of the imagination, but it does help to not just give the ball to the other team constantly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That sets up a long pass, and
right.
Our DBs this year have just been very good. So I just don't think that's a spot where Clemson wants to be in at all. I'm just worried that we're not going to be able to run the ball on you guys this year.
Yeah, it's the past couple weeks though. Clemson's run defense has not been stellar. They for the majority of the year they have been. I mean, they held who was it? They held Miami. I'm not Miami. Florida State to negative rushing yards, which was pretty impressive. But the past couple weeks they've been giving up big run plays. I mean, they two weeks in a row. They gave up an 80-yard run last week, and the week before a 90-yard run for a touchdown. So. And look, that running back for Notre Dame, Estime, he worries me. I said that going all the way back to week 1. When I watched the Notre Dame week 1, I said this guy's going to be a problem against Clemson. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that Phil Maffa isn't a problem against us. Have you heard anything about Shipley playing?
Yeah. So as far as I know, he's not.
Okay.
Now but you know how the coaches are about this thing. They're like, they kind of hem-haw around it. I don't think he's playing. From what I can tell, it doesn't seem like he's going to be available. But I don't think it's never good to have one of your starting backs go down. And I do like Will Shipley, but I don't think as long as Phil Maffa stays upright, and I mean, by upright, I don't mean not getting tackled. I mean not getting injured in the game. I feel like there won't be much of a drop-off, if any, between him and Shipley.
Yeah, the thing that really just makes me nervous is because this is like the exact opposite of what happened last year. I mean, Clemson was undefeated and Notre Dame has 2 losses, but like similar situations, like Irish just are down on their luck, starting to doubt the coach. And I feel like that's where Clemson's at this year. That's the one thing that gives me real pause about being confident.
Yeah, I think this is a dangerous game for Notre Dame. I can't remember the last time. Well, I can if I want to think about. We're going back 12 or 13 years now, probably. I can't think of a time, certainly not recently, where Clemson's back was this much up against the wall. The amount of negative energy that's surrounding the program and everything that's going on this year. I feel like, well, one of 2 things is going to happen, and we'll find out this weekend. Either Clemson either Clemson's going to pull a full-on give up mode, give up on the season because of their disappointment, or they're going to use that as motivation and turn this thing around towards the end of the season. I'm hoping for the latter. I have no idea. I'm not going to even pretend to predict which one of those things is going to happen. I hope the latter. But, Notre Dame still has a lot to play for. They still have to play for a 10-win season.
I just want that New Year's 6 monkey off my back.
There you go. See, that's another thing. You're playing. Notre Dame has a lot more to lose in this game. Is what I'm trying to say. Is they're playing for a 10-win season. They're playing. They're still trying to play their way into a New Year's 6 bowl game. Clemson doesn't really have any of that in front of them. So, and also Sam Hartman is very familiar with this team. He's played Clemson several times and he's played them well. I almost beat them last year. That game went to overtime.
Yeah, I just hope that the receivers can get any sort of space. I know your DBs are very strong too, but that's just where I feel bad for Sam out there. But he looked good. He looked good against Penn and made some plays against SC. Was able to, even with the receivers not being very fast.
Yeah, he's had some up and down moments this year, Hartman. But he's coming back to his stomping grounds in the ACC in the Southeast. He's familiar. He's played in Clemson before.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Pete. Should be a great game. Hopefully, the Tigers can bounce back next year. And yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Will the Notre Dame fan, everybody. I have no idea what to expect this weekend out of Clemson. I don't. And I think if anybody's being honest with themselves, I don't think that they do too. One thing I do expect is you're going to see Cade Klubnik play the whole game. I don't even think that's up for dispute. Let's look at some of the other games this week. Ohio State at Rutgers is a 12 o'clock game in Rutgers. Rutgers is not a terrible team. The spread on this thing is ridiculous, too. It's like 19 points for a home dog I'm picking Rutgers with the points there. We just talked about Notre Dame at Clemson. Nebraska's quietly getting better as the season goes on. They're 5-3. They're about to be bowl eligible after this week when they take care of business at Michigan State. Now this one, Jacksonville, the cock-on-cock crime here. The Gamecocks versus the Gamecocks. Jacksonville State at South Carolina. I would love to say that I think that South Carolina is going to lose this game, and I think it's certainly possible. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But I think this game has the potential to be closer than people think it is. But one thing I do know for sure, you can write this down if you have to, or tattoo it on your forehead. But if you do tattoo it on your forehead, make sure you tattoo it backwards so that whenever you look in the mirror, it reads correctly. The Gamecocks will win this game. Bet on that. Momo says he thinks that the Jacksonville wins the game. Again, the final year of Bedlam. Let's do this. Everyone say goodbye to Bedlam. It's a sad, sad situation. It's very sad that this is the last year we're going to see them play each other on an annual basis. They need to figure this thing out, though. I do know that much. I'm all for, changes happening and conference realignment and, 12-team playoffs and all this stuff that's come at us over the past few years that have changed the sport dramatically from a fan perspective. And from a player perspective and every perspective, but you've got to find a way to conserve these rivalries, right? And that's one that needs to stay around. Virginia Tech at Louisville. Now, if I would have told you or asked you back in the first week of September, if you thought in week 10 that this would be an important game in the ACC, Louisville and Virginia Tech, be honest with me. Don't lie to me. First of all, I'm like a human lie detector, so I won't believe you if you are lying. How many of you would have thought that would have been the case? I'll go ahead and tell you I wouldn't have. I don't know if is that bad for the ACC or good for the ACC? I really don't know the answer to that. And here's the game that we're all looking at. I think Georgia and Missouri is one to look at. Also LSU and Alabama, because like I said at the top of the show, in my opinion, this is going to determine who goes to Atlanta at the end of December. I'm sorry, the first week of December, not the end of December. I think it's pretty safe to say that. Now, I don't know. I haven't pulled up LSU's schedule after Alabama. But I think if they beat Alabama, they'll probably win out, and vice versa. I guess, of course, the Iron Bowl, anything can happen in that on any given year. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now. I think Alabama's winning the Iron Bowl. So that's an extremely important game, not only in the SEC but also in the grand scheme of the country. Also, Oregon State at Colorado. Oregon State went on the road and lost to Arizona, which I called, by the way. Colorado is on a massive losing streak. Colorado players got robbed last week. I'm taking Oregon State. So there is that. Dabo thinks of Clemson fans the same way Celine Driver thinks of Hamas.
Casket!
Dion said UCLA got robbed too. Colorado's offensive line, they might be the worst offensive line in the Power Five, and that's saying something. And unfortunately for them, Oregon State's got a legit defense. Yeah, if Tyler were to call into my show, I wouldn't hang up on him, and I wouldn't call him, what did he call him? A smart-ass kid. I wouldn't call him a smart-ass kid. Well, what's up? You're on with Pete.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
What do you think JJ McCarthy's stack draft is going to be this year?
Stat draft?
Yeah. Do you think he's going to go to a low team, or is he going to be like Arizona? Think he's going to go to Arizona?
Do I think he's transferring? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
All right, thanks for the call. To answer your question, no. What the fuck is a stat draft? I mean, I know I'm old and everything. It takes me a while to catch up with these new phrases. Lit. Boomer. What's the other one? Rent free. I have no idea what a stat draft is. I don't have a clue. I thought he said stat draft. You're saying it's stack draft? Dabo Sweeney looks at Clemson fans the same way that Uncle Lou looks at double zeros. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. That's all the calls. I burned through those calls like a hot knife through butter. So, like I said, the show is driven by the callers. No callers, no show. So, anyway, I do appreciate everyone that did call in. You guys are all amazing and fantastic. And everybody that showed up in the chat as well. You guys are amazing and fantastic. Clearly, I won't be streaming any games this week. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, I had 2 winners for the Patreon members, the drawing, the hat drawing. Look how scientific this is. I have a couple hundred names in this hat. Here, I draw names out of a hat to give away shit because I roll like that. But anyway, I'll be mailing that stuff out tomorrow. If you're a winner from last week, I'll be mailing your stuff out tomorrow, so you should get it sometime next week or so. Friday morning, I will be back on the second channel for the midday show. If you're not subscribed to the second channel, I don't know what you're doing. You should be already. There is a link in the description of this video to my second channel. If you scroll down, it's the part that says subscribe to my second channel, and here's the link, and you just click that link and subscribe. And then, of course, Friday night, I'll be back for the college football call-in show. I have to figure out what I'm going to do exactly because I'm leaving town on Saturday morning around 5:30. So I might start the call-in show on Friday night early, maybe an hour early. We'll see. I'll let you know. Anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. Have a great night, and I will see you guys very soon.